Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Middle-Aged Gamer Guy here. Welcome to another TNGC here with all the latest news. Now, the weird thing about this show was we weren't supposed to be doing a show tonight. I was supposed to be away, but the whole thing got cancelled. So we ended up, Dave and me quickly banged our heads together and said, I know what we can do to fill in a show. And this is what we're doing. So it's not your typical show that we normally do. The normal format will be back next week. So we don't have a guest. But we have got some quite good content, we think, for you. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Tunes. Good to see you. Bringing him in, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Davy Jones. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
I am very well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, thanks, mate.
Good. So we are doing... Oh, Mia, straight in it. Hi, Dave. Hey, Damas. Thanks. The co-host who knows the most. That's the one. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to do something about that. Hang on. No, we're going to do this live. Here we go. Hang on. I hope this lets me do this. The co-host. You watch. I bet it bloody doesn't. Oh, you beauty. Hang on. Let's read. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host this evening is Mr. Davy Jones, the co-host who knows the most.
That will do.
That's staying as a permanent fixture now. Oh, dear. Dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. You were supposed to be with Paulie, but he played Rocket League with me instead. Oh dear, there you go. So there you go. Is he all right? Is he still playing Rocket League? That was like 4 days ago. Is he still there? We left him in that arena. So what we're doing tonight, we have got some game news, and we have got a massive amount of games that came out this week. But we decided to do a bit different because, as you know, I did a ton of E3 coverage, which drove me up the wall. So glad that's only happening, once a year. But it does mean we are going to be talking about some of our favourite games. And Dave has compiled a list of his top 10. And so have I. And you couldn't get a more different list if you tried. Does that make you the hostess with the mostest? Well, I've got my shorts on. It's not quite a skirt, but if you want to see my knees.
Oh, lovely knees. That's
a Twitch ban right there.
That's as racy as it'll get tonight.
That's quite as racy. That's a Twitch ban for about two days. And then I can pretend I've been all day and then come back and pretend nothing's been happened like certain streamers. Oh, controversial. So there you go. Dave probably thinking I have no idea what you're on about, but I'm sure there's other people that do. There you go. There you go. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to crack on with our first game, which came out today. This is a Dungeons and Dragons game out on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. And if you've got Game Pass, you can get it on PC and Xbox free of charge. This was a very much anticipated game. And I've just realised how many bloody games we're talking about tonight, so I've got to find the correct thing. There we are. This is Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Let's look at the trailer, and I will discuss it and see what you think in the chat. Here we go.
All right, team. Here's the plan. Lunar, get close and provoke her. Caddy, attack from a distance to give us cover. Wolfguard, you... down, all right. Remember, stick to the...
Help here, Chris!
Worked perfectly. So, stick to the plan?
Put down
So there you go. That is Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. It worries me that, again, a game that came out today, that was their launch trailer, which shows you absolutely fuck all game footage, which always riles me up. But I did like that trailer. I have to say it's quite funny.
It's a well-done trailer.
It is a very well-done trailer. It's funny. Hello. Good to see you. Yes, there was no gameplay. Tunesy's going to give this a 4 out of 10. So, Dave, what are your thoughts on this, or what you may have looked up when I sent you the list of what we were going to talk about?
It was one that originally I hadn't really even heard that was coming. But then I think I first heard about it probably just before E3. And I thought, okay, that sounds quite cool. I quite like playing some of the older Baldur's Gate games. They were quite cool. They were good to play in co-op on the original Xbox, but they were more of your top-down isometric view ones. But I thought, oh, this one going to like full 3D might be quite cool. As you say, that trailer was just cinematic, doesn't show you a fat lot at all, apart from it being very well made and quite amusing. The gameplay videos I have seen, the gameplay looked okay, but it hasn't been doing very well in the reviews I've seen today. It's one of those games that seems to have come out with an absolute ton of problems, relying on a day one patch to fix some of them, but still got a lot more hanging about. So it was one of those games when I looked at it, I was thinking I probably wouldn't play this on my own, but it would be the perfect thing to play co-op with a mate, 2, 4 of us, whatever. Yeah. And since it's on Game Pass, that helps it as well, because it's not something I was planning to I'd pay for.
No.
Yeah, especially since it's not getting good write-ups in many places. So it'd be the perfect thing to just jump into in Game Pass, probably in a couple of weeks' time when it's had a few patches, see what it's like then, see if it's actually worth playing.
So, what do you want to guess that this has got average-wise?
I'm going to guess it's averaging out probably about a 6 out of 10 at the moment.
Okay. Tune says he reckons it can be a 4 out of 10, but it might be a 7 out of 10. Let us know in the chat if you want to have a guess. Big Jesse's saying a 6.5. What I will say is, yes, it has a ton of bugs on day of release, which is not good. They basically said you can learn the game in the first 10 minutes, which is never a bad thing. But it basically says once you've done the first 10 minutes, that is all you pretty much will do for the rest of the game, because it is one of the most dullest and most boring games that has ever come out on a Dungeons and Dragons license. Now, they've said there's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons games that have been not very good, but this has absolutely pretty much no story to it. And your characters is constantly monologuing when there's not any characters around, which they find quite infuriating from some of the reviews. So based on that, it gets a 5 out of 10. There was a lot of 4s, but then there was a lot of 6s. So it kind of evened itself out. So yeah, a 5 out of 10. So for Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which came out today on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, that's a 5 out of 10, unfortunately. Our next game is something a bit more artistic. And this is a lovely game. This was actually shown at E3, but it literally came out the same week as E3. This is called Chicory, A Colourful Tale. This actually came out on Thursday, the 10th of June, and is out on PC and PlayStation. Let's check out the trailer and see what you all think. Here we go. There you go. So that is Chicory. So basically, it's a game where you wake up one day and all the colours from the world have disappeared, but you seem to have them all. And you go on an adventure to find out what's happened and try and recreate this world in all the colours and solve the puzzles. And by using the colours, basically solve the puzzles. It does start off quite light-hearted, but it does go fairly dark from what we've been told. And I'll leave it there at the moment, and I'll hand over to Dave and see what he thinks. But I want to say thank you to Zabs for the raid. How you doing? Good to see you. And I'll hand over to Dave. What are your thoughts on this one?
It didn't really grab me, to be quite honest. Just looking at the trailer, it doesn't look like sort of game for me. It looks like something my daughter might enjoy, especially all the painting and stuff. I read one thing it supports is local co-op. It's not quite cool if you have got young kids and you can play it together and paint the world between you. But it didn't really look like it was sort of aimed at my age group. But then you mentioned that it's got this story that goes a bit darker as it goes along. So I don't know, maybe there's more to it that I can't quite pick out from that trailer. But just looking at that, it wouldn't grab me, wouldn't convince me to play it.
Okay. I mean, I don't think the trailer does it justice, I'll be honest, because I've seen quite a bit of game footage from it. So it makes you think that it's just like, oh, it's like a paint by numbers thing, which it is, but it isn't. If that makes sense. What do you reckon this has got?
Well, it had those little award things in it at the start of the trailer, so I reckon it's probably done quite well with critics. So I'm going to guess that it's probably got about an 8.
Okay. What does everyone else reckon? Painting goth colour palette, you can. I can tell you that they basically said that the game doesn't overstay its welcome. It's about the right sort of pacing. You'll enjoy it, but you can do it at your own pace. It's a leisurely game. And the puzzles aren't too taxing, but you will find it rewarding from doing it. And a lot of people that played it and reviewed it said they got so immersed in it. It was crazy. And the way the painting mechanics work and stuff. So what do we reckon, chat? What do we reckon this has got? Let us know your thoughts. Give us scores. Big Jesse says I'll probably give it a go. What would you give it, Jesse? Scores-wise? 7.5. Dave, you going for an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Tunes, I don't think is 3 out of 10. I don't think he's going to go for it. This got a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Got really high praises. Tunes is sticking with his 3. It got 9 out of 10. Really big rave reviews for this. Yeah, Tunes is like, what the hell? I know. I don't think the trailer does it justice. If you watch some gameplay footage, I think you'd probably go, oh, okay. I kind of see what this is now. But again, you might not like that type of game. I don't know. But there you go. That's Chicory, which came out on Thursday, the 10th of June, out on PC and PlayStation. Gets a 9 out of 10. A little bit of news. Obviously, while we were hard at work doing the show last week, it was the last day of E3. And a couple of things that got announced while we were doing the show, or just before we were doing the show. 2 of them are big Nintendo games. Tunes wants to know, can he fish in that game? Probably. I wouldn't put it past him. In which case, he'll probably give it a 9 out of 10.
You could paint a fish in it.
Paint fish in it. Yeah. Do it.
Do that.
Why not? The first one being, obviously, the big reveal for Nintendo Direct, and we will be talking about this game a little bit more in depth, was Breath of the Wild 2. But the 2 of the big things that kind of come from it, or 3 big things, I should say, obviously, they've said that this is coming out next year. But it looks like there's lots more different weapons in it from the trailers we've seen, and you might see some stuff. There seems to be like a flamethrower gun that Link has in it, a weird teleporter thing where you can go into water. It makes you pass through objects, and also a freeze gauntlet, which is quite cool. You can freeze opponents. So it looks like there's new weapons in it. Gliding is going to be even more so because it looks like there's lots of higher rocks, platforms, kingdoms that are up in the sky. Looks like the map is going to be huge. There's a lot bigger areas, so you're going to do a hell of a lot of gliding in this game. First impressions, without going into it too much, because we're going to discuss it later, Dave. Do you think you think this is going to be even better than the last one?
Oh, I'd hope so. I mean, Nintendo usually are pretty good when it comes to doing sequels, making things bigger and better. Yeah, they've done it before. I mean, they've also done it with Zeldas as it's gone along. They've always tended to improve them. And when they went from, I think it was Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild, I mean, that was a huge leap. They completely changed it and they just knocked it out of the park. For me, that was an absolutely fantastic game. I've put well over 100 hours into it. I still pop into it occasionally as well. Just, my daughter likes playing it, so I joined in with her.
Yeah.
Pass the controller between us, just mess around the game world. Because it's a good little world to play around in. So from what we saw in the trailer, it looks like, it's more of the same, but there'll be more to it. They're going to add more. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. The other game, which, if I got this right, has it been 19 years since the last Metroid game?
Oh, I can't remember. The last one was on the well, actually depends if you're going for the original 2Ds. Yeah, it's been a long time. But you had the Metroid Primes that are on the Wii, which are a bit more recent than that.
Okay, I think they're going for the originals, saying 19 years. Obviously, they announced Metroid Dread, which we discussed briefly last week. That's coming out this autumn, October the 8th, which is hopefully going to scratch that itch, because it's not the Metroid game that everyone is really waiting for, but it's kind of a stopgap, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, well, everyone's waiting for the Metroid Prime 4, waiting to see how that one works out. But we've seen nothing apart from the logo, which I think probably a couple of years ago we saw the logo, so that's still deep, dark down somewhere in Nintendo being made. Going to be a while before we see that one. But I think this one looked like it'd be a good game. If you like the old 2D ones, like the original Metroid and Super Metroid, I think this follows on from those.
Yeah,
it's like a capper for the story they started.
And it's got this new mechanic because they said there's more of a horror mechanic in it because of the fact that you've got this creature that's constantly chasing you, a bit like, say, like Nemesis or what's the other one in Resident Evil 2?
Oh, I think it's Mr. X.
Mr. X. So there's that constant threat. So it's almost like, it's your typical 2D Metroid, but not as you know it. So that looks interesting. So those are two games that basically got announced while we were doing the show last week. Let's go to I can't believe I'm saying this already. We're only 20 minutes in the show. Let's get to our third and final review. This is a game that also came out today. This time, this is out on Switch and PC. It is coming to other platforms, I believe. It was due to come out in January, but got delayed. But there will be coming out to other platforms as we go. This is called The Ender Lilies, Quieters of the Night. Let's check out the trailer for this one, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. Here we go. There you go. Ender Lilies, quietest of the nights. I think it's deceptive as Tunes, because Tunes was like, it's a game where you got to go talk to people and do that. And it was like, now it comes in with the combat and the action, and it's a bit of a hack and slash. So it's a bit of everything. It's a bit of a mystery game plus other stuff. As I say, it is coming out to other formats, hopefully. It did get delayed by 6 months, but it's now found its way onto PC and Switch. Dave, your thoughts on this one?
It's a good looking game. I like the artwork style to it. And I get the impression, from looking at it's got platforming, got action. It's going to be in the style of, a sort of Metroid, Castlevania type game, that sort of thing. I believe it's got some RPG elements to it, but I didn't really see much of that in the trailers. No. But it looks like it's got a decent challenge there, if you like that sort of thing. Some bosses there that'll probably tax you a fair bit. Don't know whether it will be one I'll ever get round to, unless it happens to pop up on Game Pass one time. It looks nice, but I'll probably never end up playing it, unfortunately.
No, I don't think I will either, but it does look good, and you can tell with the art style, and I think someone spent a lot of time on that. What do we reckon, chat? Big Jesse's gone for an 8. Let us know your scores. Dave, what are you going to say?
I'm going to guess an 8 for this one.
You're going for an 8 as well. Any other guesses in the chat before we move on? Tunes is going for a 6 out of 10, so he's going for a bit lower. Well, I could tell you, this got a 9 out of 10 as well.
Another 9. Oh, that's a high scoring week.
I know. So we're only reviewing 3 games this week, and we got 2 of the highest scores we probably had in ages. It's mad. But yeah, a solid 9 out of 10. Couldn't fault it. I couldn't find a bad review anywhere. So Ender Lilies out on the Switch and PC as of today. And yet there's no horses. That's true, Jesse. There might be a level where you ride a horse. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Who knows? You never know. So there you go. So I'm going to quickly recap those 3 games. This
Can you remember what they were?
I know. I know. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance out on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation as of today. Got a 5 out of 10. Chicory, A Colourful Tale, came out on the Thursday, the 10th of June on PC and PlayStation. Got 9 out of 10. And Ender Lilies, Quietest of the Nights, came out today on Switch and PC. And as I say, should be other platforms coming very soon. Gets a 9 out of 10 as well. Those are 3 games next week. There are lots more games for next week. It's just that it's almost like the aftermath of E3. Not a lot of people release them. They either release them on the day of E3, and then there's a week where all the press and everything just go and just basically have a rest. So hardly any games did come out. And even when I had my calendar schedule, it was really weird. I get all the list of the games coming out for the weeks. And this one week in June, there was hardly anything. It was just empty. And I was like, okay, so everyone's just skipping that week. Fair enough. So there you go. Some Xbox news now. A couple of things about Xbox. Both really good news for some people, I'm going to say. For those that still have their Xbox One, which I still do, I have a Series X, and can't get their hands on a Series X or S, you'll be happy to know that through the power of xCloud, you will be able to play Series X and S games through xCloud on your Xbox One, which means you don't have to try and wait for queues and rush out for certain games anymore. Obviously, it's not going to have quite the same quality, but it's almost a stopgap. Dave, your thoughts on this first? Do you think this is quite a good thing to tide people over?
I think so. As you say, it is a bit tricky getting hold of the newer consoles at the moment, unless you're willing to pay for the nose to those scalpers on eBay, swines. It's useful just to keep the old consoles going a bit longer for people that either can't afford to upgrade or just cannot get hold of one, as I just said. Hopefully they'll look good on there when you play them. Obviously, depends how good your connection is to the internet and for the stream. See what the quality's like. But at least it's a way you could play some Series X exclusives without having to upgrade.
Yeah,
it's just nice to have that option there for people.
It is, and I think xCloud's coming on leaps and bounds, so I think that'll be a massive advantage. The other thing is, and this was quite interesting news that we learned, is that obviously in Japan, PlayStation sells. We all know it. However, the Series S is becoming fastly one of the biggest selling consoles in Japan. So obviously Series X's are selling fairly well in Japan, but they are selling a lot of Series S's. Xbox 360 was quite a big success in Japan. Xbox One wasn't. It was an absolute flop. PlayStation normally takes the reins. They love Sony a lot. But it is doing really well. And the thing is, people are literally jumping from their Xbox 360s that they're still playing in Japan to the Series S. So, yeah, they were really happy about this Xbox, as you can imagine. And the fact that you can quite easily get a Series S over here, and, you know, people are buying them, but it's not the preferred out the two, the Series X. It's nice to see that Japan are like, no, we like the Series S because it's dinky and it does this and it do that. And it's almost like it's been targeted to the Japanese culture. So, yeah, I know Xbox are quite chuffed about that because we didn't think that Xbox was selling well in Japan for foreseeable future. Dave, your thoughts on that?
Well, it's quite nice to see Microsoft giving Sony a bit of competition over there.
Yeah.
You say usually they barely sell anything, don't they? You ever look at like the sales charts, they're right down there. There's like other older consoles from like Sony, Nintendo that are way above them. So it's nice to see they're actually, you know, breaking into that market a bit. And I think the main thing that's probably helping it, apart from, you know, being a nice small design console, is probably Game Pass. It's probably having a good influence on it.
Yeah,
because you can just buy the console, then pay that, you know, small monthly fee, and you've got access to all those games straight away, which includes a lot of popular Japanese ones. You know, I can think of the Yakuza ones offhand, and some batch of the Final Fantasies are on there. So there's lots of games that appeal to that market. And I was reading earlier as well that I think Microsoft has put a lot more effort into localization for the Japanese market for the first party games. So that'll help as well.
Yeah, they've got they love indie games and stuff, as you said, with the first partner things, and I think that's what's going to capture the market there, definitely. Hello, Laurie, welcome. Don't worry, you've not missed too much. You've not missed the main bulk of the show. We had 3 games that we talked about, and we've talked about some new Nintendo games that were announced, and we're talking about Xbox. But we are going to hit our top 10 lists now. We're going to do, Dave and me compiled, easy for me to say, a list of our top 10, in no particular order, favourite games of E3. And this is what the main bulk of this show is about. So we're going to bounce between us, and Dave's going to go for his first one, which I believe, Dave, is
Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
See, I was surprised this wasn't on your list. Being the super fan you are.
I just knew. I mean, even if you didn't want this game, I thought it would end up on there. So, but yeah, Halo Infinite. Now I'm gonna play this in the background because this is a really long trailer and it's got people talking over the top. So Dave's going to discuss why he's really excited for this while we're showing the trailer. So here we go. Here we go. Run that. So hopefully there's no sound on that. No one can hear that. No. So that's all good. Cool. Dave, tell us why you're excited for Halo Infinite.
Oh, well, I've enjoyed the Halo since they first came out. And I was a bit disappointed they didn't show any of the campaign at this E3. I was kind of hoping they would, so we'd have a nice comparison to see how it had improved since the last year. We got this little bit of a fly through here of one of the areas, which to me looks pretty decent, and also looks like they've got some nice big maps because they're not going full open world, but they're doing nice big roomy levels. Yeah, which is something that you had back in, like, say, Crysis was a good example, perhaps the original Far Cry. Basically, they just had these big levels that you could approach things from various angles, and lots of optional things to do in there that you could skip if you didn't want to. But it just sort of fleshed it out a bit. So it looks like they're doing that with this one, which should be good. Hopefully be an improvement over Halos 4 and 5, which, whilst I did enjoy them, I never really went back to them as much as I did the original ones that Bungie made. Yeah. So I'm really hoping this is going to be a bit of a return to form and bring back some memories of the first Halo. Because when the first one came out, it was just brilliant. I absolutely loved it. You just ended up on this, the Halo ring, which had all these mysterious constructs all over the place, and really sort of captured your imagination. And this looks to me like it's hopefully going to do more of the same. So hopefully people won't just keep concentrating on that still image of the Brute that looked a bit ropey from last year. We'll actually just enjoy it when it comes out.
I mean, it does look good. You know I don't like it, but I will give this a fair shout when it comes out. I'm more likely we'll do a stream of it. Hello, Duron, by the way. No, I'll explain in a minute what's going on with this. It's a very different show tonight. We'll see. I just have my issues with it, and I think that's always going to be a thing with me. I've always got hang-ups.
Well, even if it is and you don't like the campaign, we've got the multiplayer. And from the trailer they show for that does look really good. So I'm going to dive into that as well.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, when I did that Halo 5 thing, hated the campaign, but everyone said, oh, God, Halo 5's the worst anyway. But a lot of people were like, I really enjoyed the multiplayer. And I did enjoy that. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe I will get some games in with that. So we shall see. We shall see. But that's enough of that one. But yeah, that's on your list. And that's obviously out this year. So you're looking forward to that, aren't you, Dave?
I am indeed. Just waiting for the release date. I'm going to book a day off work, I think.
Yeah, all they've said so far is holiday, haven't they? They've not actually said. So it's going to be sometime between November and December because that's what they class as holiday.
I could kind of expect November. I would have thought. Maybe it would be late November because I think Horizon 5 is early November, isn't it? Which we're talking about that later. I think that's early in the month.
Yeah. Are we talking about that later?
Forza Horizon 5, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, we are. So when you said Horizon 5, I was thinking of the other thing. But
Horizon Forbidden West, were you?
Yeah, I was thinking of that, and I was thinking, I don't remember us talking about that, but no, that's fine. So Dave goes for Halo Infinite. He's excited for it. I'm not. Duron, we weren't supposed to be doing a show tonight, and then I was supposed to be away, and then it got cancelled. So we're back, but we're doing a special E3 show, and we're basically going through our fate, Bob and Hitman. Going through, we should change the name to the show to that. Bob and Hitman talk about games. That was just for you, Joran. But yeah, so we're just going through our top 10. Now I'm going to start with mine. Says, I'm not a Halo player, not a fan of it. Good man, Good man. That's what I like to see. But there you go. That gets a shout out from me. However, what I'm going to say is it's not just about games. It's also about DLCs. And you're going to find that there's two games here that are not new games, that are my choices, that are technically DLCs. Everybody knows I love Sea of Thieves. Or I did up until a certain point. And I did say, literally about 2-3 weeks ago, I was going to stop streaming Sea of Thieves.
You were drunk at the time, though, so we'll put it down to that.
That's true, but it was a general consensus between the crew that we were getting bored of the game. It's run its course. We weren't going to do anything like that. So we were going to stop it until Microsoft did their showcase. And the reason I put this one in is because it was the only thing that genuinely made my jaw drop. This went live today. This is Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Tale. This is the new DLC, which is absolutely free for people who play Sea of Thieves. I'm going to play the trailer for this one. We'll sit back and then we'll discuss it. Enjoy. If you haven't seen this, you're in for a surprise.
An ill wind blows from beyond the horizon. A new danger is coming on the tides. And the one who might stop this ruin, trapped for all forever in the sea of the damned. Now to save the pirate life, you must start by saving the life of one.
Oh, didn't realize we had company. Captain Jack Sparrow. But I suspect you already knew that.
Because of the treasure Jack stole, a darkness followed him here. And if it's not stopped, this world will sink into shadow.
This sea holds many secrets.
Ah, a new body at last.
All I can do is show you the way.
From what I hear of this so-called Sea of Thieves, it's nothing but cursed crews, bloodthirsty mermaids, a legion of dead, angry pirates. Ah, yes. And now one Davy Jones. Hello! Well, I believe that now is the perfect time to use these cannons.
A world without the attack, our best. Is a world that refuses to face the truth. Nothing lasts forever. Destroy that!
I don't suppose, by chance, there's a second one of those? The Sea of Thieves, eh? Bring me that horizon.
There you go. Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Tale. This came out today. As Tune says, few people streaming it today. We're going to be streaming it on Friday. I'm just going to say what I was so excited for this. I didn't even know what it was going to be. But it's 5 brand new Tall Tales. But the difference between this and the other 13 Tall Tales that exist in the game at the moment is you can't get dicked over. So if you go in solo, I want to play it solo, you can. You're not going to get other crews come in and get you. And you basically, or you can do it as a crew of 4 or 2 or whatever, but you can play it through at your leisure. And there's so much stuff, but they're bringing stuff from these 5 stories into the main game. So there's a brand new weapon, there's brand new bad guys, and there's new diving mechanics. So we've got, you can, if you struggle to breathe underwater, there's air pockets you can get. So they've added new mechanics that are going to go into the main game. I love this game, and for the fact I was going to give up on this game after nearly 3.5 years of playing it, they just pulled me back with that. I don't know how they kept that quiet. It's the one thing that didn't get leaked. Laurie says, man, this looks so freaking good. Laurie, you got to play it. You got to play it. I think this is going to be amazing. But watch us on Friday. The Friday crew is going to play it, and it's definitely worth getting. It's free on Game Pass. And it'll cost you nothing. And all this DLC is absolutely free. So if they continue to do stuff like this, Sea of Thieves can just get bigger and better. Seriously. Really would get better. So there you go. Dave, your next game, please.
My next one is Plague Tale Requiem.
Okay. We'll show the trailer for this one, and you can discuss why you think... Well, why this is in your top 10 list. You think I can bloody find it? Where is it? There it is. There's so many of these trailers we've got to play. Here we go. Plague Tale Requiem, which is a sequel. Here we go. The trailer.
These things, where do they come from?
From all of us. From what we do to him.
Can you stop it?
I don't know. But he's my brother. And I would die for him.
So this comes out next year, and this is a sequel to A Plague Tale. True Law, thank you so much for the raid. Great to see you. Zenkai says, "Oh my god, I love this adaptation of the 2000 film Ratatouille." It's nothing like that, mate. It's nothing like that. Good to see you, True Law. Thank you for the raid. I really wanted to play the first game, and I've never got round to playing it. So for anyone who doesn't know what this is, Dave, do you want to explain why this is on your list?
Yeah, it's on my list because I really enjoyed the first one. It's just Plague Tale Innocence, which, as you say, is on Game Pass. And I think it's early next month it's getting a 60 FPS 4K upgrade to it for free. So that'll improve the visuals and stuff, make it run smoother. But I really enjoyed it because it was just a really good single-player story. There's no other, was it microtransactions, any of that other sort of crap that went in there. Just pure and simple story with good characters, good mechanics. Simplest thing to compare it to, if you've ever played The Last of Us on the PS4, it plays in a similar way to that. You're going through the world scavenging for stuff that you can then use to craft items and weapons that you use as you go through. So it plays quite similar to that. And it's similar in the way that it's got these characters that join you and follow you through the world, trying to help you navigate through this rat plague. You play as this girl called, was it Millie? No, I forget her name. You play as a girl who's trying to look after her younger brother. And trying to work out what's going on with all these rats, trying to keep away from people from the Inquisition who are following you, trying to capture you and your brother for some reason you just don't know about to begin with. And it's really quite well done. Some of the puzzles, you get in these areas where there's all these rats about and people and enemies wandering about with lanterns, and you're trying to work out how to get past them. And you can just get out your slingshot, sling it at the enemy's lantern. His light goes out, the rats will then come in, pull him down, gnaw him to pieces. You can sneak past while they're distracted. Lots of cool puzzles like that.
So it's not a game for the faint-hearted. It's quite grisly then.
It's got a few grisly bits to it, yeah.
All right, James wants to know, the Inquisition, is it a Spanish one, Dave, as no one expects?
That's it.
So everyone knows they have one main question. I mean, they have they have four main questions. If anyone doesn't know what we're on about, check out Monty Python.
Classic stuff.
So yeah, so you reckon that this sequel is going to be on par with the first one then?
I really hope so. I mean, gosh, you can't tell much in that trailer because it's one of those in-engine ones. It looks nice what they showed. Hopefully they'll be able to carry it on and keep it decent and not add too much bloat to it. Because sometimes when it comes to sequel, they can throw too much extra in there and it spoils it. Yeah. But as long as they keep it, nice and simple with a few extras, let's say. Yeah, keep the story good because that was the main thing that kept me going for the first one was the story. Then fingers crossed it'll be decent. So I am looking forward to it. Roll on next year when it comes out.
I am very tempted to give the first one a try because it's still on Game Pass now.
I would.
So that would. And when I saw it and other people playing it, I thought, this looks good. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I can see why you put that on the list. Cool. My next one, something completely different again, going very retro. I saw this as part of the Indie Games Showcase. Hello, Becca. How are you? And I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of a game that was on the SNES. And I always wanted it. Can't remember what it was called, but you were a fireman and you had to put fires out. And they've done like a revamped version of it. And this is Fire Girl. And people are probably going to go, you're crazy. I think a lot of these people are just going to go, what? But for me, this looked great. Where the hell is there? It is just so many bloody trailers. I've got this. Here we go. Here we go. Found it. Let's go for the trailer for Fire Girl and let us know your thoughts in the chat. There you go. So that's Fire Girl. Now, the game. If anyone can remember what the game was that was on the SNES, that only were in buildings, and you had to go from room to room or up the stairs or whatever, or climb up the elevator shafts to save all the people. This seems like they've taken that game and put a lot more. It's like you have to put out forest fires, you have to go rescue people who've fallen down caves. You're doing bits where you're jumping across trains, but then you've got the whole mechanic of the fact that you are literally building up your fire station, giving yourself, more health and do all this, but then recruiting crews. Seems to be a lot more in it. I'm actually really excited for this. I don't know, maybe a lot of people saw it and just thought, but I genuinely think this would be a great arcade game to play. And again, might not take a lot of hours, but I think it'd be great fun. It'd be great fun. What do you reckon,
Yeah,
Dave?
I thought it looked okay. I mean, I'd never heard of it. I think I missed the indie game show where they showed that one off. So that's the first time I've seen anything of it. It looks all right. Looks like a simple sort of pick up and play arcadey type game. As you say, it's probably not too long, but that doesn't really matter because you don't need every game to be 100 hours plus. Sometimes you just want something short, sweet, simple that you can just jump into for half an hour and have a good blast with.
Yeah.
Oh, that did look pretty cool.
Yeah. We've not got a release date on it. Becca was asking, is it out now? We don't know. I haven't got a date on it. It was announced literally last week at E3. So hopefully it might be out later this year, but I'm going to keep an eye out on it. And hello, Becca, by the way. Good to see you there. Sorry you've got a headache. I hope you had a bump on your head today. I hope you're all right. But yeah, I'm really quite excited for that. Maybe that's just me and my, it was a game I could never get hold of. So it's like, I might be able to finally play this now, which is great. And it's not just for PC, it's for console as well. So there you go. Dave, your next one, something a bit more, what's the best way to describe it? A bit more mainstream is what I would say for your next choice. And this is where I think we're not going to fall out over this one. You think we'd fall out over Halo, but no, this is one that I think we're going to have quite an in-depth discussion on. Tell us what it is.
I picked Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I'm going to play the trailer for this, and then we will discuss why Dave thinks this is going to be amazing and why I think this is going to tank. Here we go. Here's the trailer.
I am so proud of you. Do you know what a birthright is, Peter? Something that's a part of you. Like your name.
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No, Rocket. So I let Groot fill out the paperwork.
So we got fined. We appear to be 6,963 units short. I know, we clearly need a plan.
If you see anything with claws beside the tracks, let me know.
We got this. Drax, roll.
No! You want monster? I'll show you monster!
No! We disrobe!
Keep your pants on.
Although it could be used as a distraction.
Smash him up, Drax! Meet your maker!
We're all professionals here, right? Maybe we can work something out.
Here!
You had one shot, Will.
I did exactly what? Gamora, no killing teammates.
That's who!
It's literally in your contract.
I made no such commitments.
In less than 3 cycles, all would be lost. The galaxy cannot be saved, Peter Quill.
We can do this together.
Fucking great! Well...
Somewhere, right?
Star-Lord.
Oh, ah!
So that is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. A couple of people I'm going to say. Zenkai says, hello, DMCA. Well, funnily enough, I didn't get a strike when I did the E3 coverage, so I should be all right, apparently. So we'll see. We'll see. They kept it in when I did the Square Enix conference. They didn't that. Let's have a look. This one, hopefully they don't mess it up like Avengers. Tunes. The only way they can make a Guardians of the Galaxy game is if they make it Lego. Anything else won't work. Joker Girl, hello, welcome. I take it all your power and everything is back on because they had flipping all sorts of stuff going on last night and knocked all the power out and stuff. Becca says, I have mixed feelings about this game. I feel like I would enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't think I would. Dave, explain why you're excited for this.
Well, when I watched the trailers and the gameplay reveal, I like the humour they got in there. It reminded me quite a good amount of the movies. Had that same sort of humour. I thought that worked. The trailer made me laugh. The gameplay to me looked pretty good. I could still do with seeing a bit more of it though, to see what the combat's like, because it looks okay. I'm hoping it's got a bit more to it. But from what I was reading as well, it's just going to be a plain single player action game. So yeah, action adventure game. So probably if you've played the Tomb Raiders before, hopefully similar to that. It's coming from Square Enix, who make those games. Yeah. So there's a good pedigree there to make a decent game, and I'm hoping they will do this one justice, because they didn't do that with Avengers. They put too much extra crap on that, made it fucking online, co-op all the way, looter shooter, grinding to get anything. That's not what people wanted at all. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a bit more of a focused production. Take out all the extra fluff, just make it plain single player, story driven action adventure game.
Okay. Panda, hello, welcome. Panda says hello, Dave.
How you doing, mate?
There you go. Joker's Power came back on only a few hours ago. It was out for 18 hours. Bloody hell. Well, I'm glad it's back on now. Hope you're okay, Joker. Zenkai, I think, is the same thoughts of you. I love the Guardians franchise. Plus, with this game having no online loot boxing Avengers type thing in it, it should be good. So, here's my thing. They absolutely ballsed up the Avengers. So much so that I don't ever want to play it. I watched the same footage as you. I was very underwhelmed by the type of gameplay. Yes, it's great that there's no loot boxes and it's not online. The fact that you can only play as Star-Lord, straight away as they said that, I was like, well, that's shit. I was like, I would have at least thought you could play some of the other characters, even if you only had one level as that, but no, it's all Star-Lord. I just don't think it looks good. And I think they're going to make all the same mistakes they did with, if you strip all the online stuff out of Avengers, I still think it's going to be a very bland and boring game.
That's why we need to see a bit more of it to see if they have managed to improve on that, because I hope that's not the case. The fact that you only play a Star-Lord doesn't bother me a huge amount, because I've played other games like the Uncharted where you just play, say, Nathan Drake, but you've got other characters with you doing stuff and helping you out. There's nothing wrong with that. That plays pretty well. Yeah,
I get that, but I think Uncharted is about Nathan Drake. Guardians of the Galaxy is about 5 different characters. It's not all about Star-Lord. And to me, that's like having the Avengers, but you're only going to play as 4. Basically, the one character that's actually probably the shittest.
I thought that would have been Hawkeye for most people.
Yeah, well, he weren't even in the game, was he? He wasn't even in the Avengers game. They had to add him as a DLC character. Yeah. He was that bad. But there you go. I don't know. Tunes, sorry, I only just saw this. You did this 10 minutes ago. Thank you for the gifted sub that you gave to Laurie. Hope you, that's all good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I hope Laurie saw that. I don't know. I think she did. There you go. Star-Lord was mostly the main focus in the movies, to be honest. Yes, he was, but they're a team. And this is what I'm saying, Zenkai. Like, even if there was only a few levels with the other characters in, I think they should equate for that, and they haven't. I don't know. I'm not. Hopefully, they'll prove me wrong. I hope it's a massive success. This is out later this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's around October time. So it's
October
not long
time.
to wait.
So I hope they prove me wrong. Again, with maybe Halo Infinite, they might prove me wrong. This might be great, and I might end up playing this. But I'm like, it's so quick off the back of the heels of that awful Avengers game.
Well, hopefully, it's been in direction in the background. Hopefully, they've seen the negativity towards Avengers, and they've really put some effort in to make this a hell of a lot better. I hope so. Because at Avengers, whenever I saw a story trailer for that, I always thought it looked quite good when it was just showing the story. But then you see all the other rubbish they put in it, and it just put me off. Same as you, I'll never bother playing it just because it's got all that extra rubbish in it that no one wanted. That's not what people wanted from the Avengers game at all.
That's fair enough. Okay, my next pick. This is. I was actually surprised this wasn't on your list, Dave. I'll be totally honest. This is basically the next Left 4 Dead, but we're not allowed to call it Left 4 Dead, even though it's made by the same people. It's because they parted ways with Valve. This is out in July, and I'm really looking forward to this. If you've ever played Left 4 Dead, you must be screaming for this game. This is Back 4 Blood. I'm going to play the trailer for this one, and then let us know in the chat what you think.
Intestinal discharge.
Now, I said that was out in July, but I got the dates wrong on that one. It's out October, sorry. I don't know why I said it was out in July.
October 12th?
Yeah, October 12th. The beta comes out in August, isn't it? That's what it is. The beta's out August. You can start playing it. I absolutely loved Left 4 Dead games and played them for many hours on the Xbox 360. I am absolutely stoked for this. If it's made by I can't see how they could get this wrong. And even if it's nothing groundbreaking, they're pretty much the same monsters that we'd seen before. They've just added a few more. But if it's anything like the other two, we've been screaming for a Left 4 Dead 3 for like over 10, 12 years now. That would scratch that itch. Does anyone agree with me? I don't know. Little Panda says, oh my God, yes, Back 4 Blood looks sick. We'll definitely get the game to stream. Sorry, I'm all in caps, but I'm so excited for this. That's cool. I'm excited for this. This is why it's made my list. Dave, was there any reason why this didn't make your list?
Oh, there were just various of the games that I'd seen that catch my interest a bit more. Not to say I'm not looking forward to it, because I did like the Left 4 Deads as well. I played them all back when they were out on the PC originally, but got a good number of hours into it. They're absolutely brilliant. So I'm definitely going to give this one a look. The only thing I'd like to just see a bit more of to see how it works is they're making this one a little bit different because they're adding this like card system, aren't they? You put down certain cards before you go into rounds. So we just see how that actually affects the game. Will it dilute it at all from just the pure fun we had with the Left 4 Deads?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit dubious just on that. I want to see a bit more of it, see how it really affects it.
It might. I think it's going to go one of two ways. It's either a system that will work really well because it will mean that every time you go back and play a same level, that level is not going to be the same because it might spike up the difficulty rating, or it's going to be certain things, abilities that you can do, or certain things you can do if you're playing the zombies. But it means that every game would probably be more different. Or it could go the other way and be a bit of a hindrance. So we'll have to see how that goes with that system. But it was promising. Watching a lot of the stuff that they showed over E3, I was well hyped for that. So that's Back for Blood out later this year. Dave, this one we've already kind of talked about, but we're going to go more in depth. I'm going to show this and get you to talk about why you're so excited for this one. So you, let's get the video up if I could. Here we go. Let's play this. Mr. Man on the telly there. So this was a big reveal at the end of the Nintendo Direct. And this, Dave, was?
It's Breath of the Wild 2. It's what I was waiting the entire Nintendo stream to appear.
Yeah.
And they kind of just did a couple of other Zelda things just before. And I was thinking, oh, God, is that it? They're not going to show anything at all. But then finally, right at the end, yeah, they showed this, which unfortunately doesn't really give you any release date. It's just sort of vague 2022. So I don't know if it's early or late next year. Just going to have to wait and see. As long as they get it right when it comes out, I don't really mind waiting. Rather I didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to this because I really enjoyed the first one. It was just a nice breath of fresh air in the open world genre because the map doesn't get filled with icons like you get in lots of other games. Because some of them, like Cyberpunk or pretty much any Ubisoft one, you just go to the map and it's just full of all these frigging icons. And I don't know. I just kind of hate that because as much as I try and ignore them, I still feel compelled and pulled to try and clear the blasted things off the map. You end up finding a lot of them are just a bit of a waste of time. So I really liked it in Zelda, the way you just sort of went in the game. There was barely anything on the map, but you got the odd points like a main story mission, but that was really about it. The rest of it was up to you. You just went wherever you wanted, explored the world. You'd be climbing mountains. You'd turn around, you'd spot a shrine or two in the distance that were glowing orange at night. And you just thought, oh, okay, I'll mark those on the map myself. Then I'll go and find those later on. And so those you just tend to find other stuff. You'd find these little hidden collectibles just around the world. It's just really good the way it was done. Had great combat to it. I enjoyed the puzzles in the shrines and in the boss creatures. They were really good. Absolutely brilliant game.
I mean, I've not played it, but I know lots of people who've played the original Breath of the Wild and say how amazing it is, and it's in some people's top 10 games of ever. But I thought this looked great. I really did. And it will be some time. I mean, Nintendo knew what they were doing when they led with their new console, and they didn't lead it with a Mario game. They led with Breath of the Wild, and that just says volumes. Because that would make or break a console, and I think it made the Switch massively.
Oh, definitely. Got a lot of people to buy it, bring it back into the Nintendo fold. And it's done them well since, because that console sold brilliantly.
Yeah. Joker says, by 2022, I swear I'm going to have a damn Switch, because I need Breath of the Wild 2. Definitely
I'll get yourself one.
Get it. So yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, sometime next year. Now, this one is another DLC. And this is going to be weird because I'm not too fussed about this game. And they did show a lot more coverage of it over E3. So I was like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably play it. I ain't going to rush out to get it. But they did one thing that basically made me go, now that's different. I might get this game just to play this DLC. Bloody hell. Gecko raiding with the party of 7. Hello, Gecko. Raid! Definitely got to give Gecko a shout out. Gecko and Chelsea Girl have been doing a charity stream for 12 hours today. Bless them. And I hope they've done really well. I popped in. I even played one of the games with them this afternoon. I donated. I joined in for half an hour. And I hope it went well. So I hope you're well, Gecko. So thank you so much for the raid. Well, sort of due to shit connection. Yeah, you were having connection problems, weren't you? Which was a bit shit. But they were playing all sorts of stuff. Rocket League, GTA 5. Oh, Christ. Fortnite. They played a bit of Knockout City. Loads of other ones. So, definitely needs that shout out. And she's going to be doing an extra 6 hours before the end of June because of the fact that the connection dropped out. She kind of got halfway through it in the connection, but Chelsea managed to... Did Chelsea manage to carry on and do the whole 12 hours, Gecko? Is that what happened? And do you know what? If we can get... I don't know how we can do this, but if Gecko can send Tunes a link, I don't know how we're going to get this posted. If you want to post a charity link in the chat and you want to give a donation, it could be £1, it could be £2, £3, whatever, 5, 10, 20, whatever. Please do. It's all going to the Alzheimer's Society. So it's definitely worth it. Or Gecko, go check out Gecko's page and all the details are on there. So yeah, whisper Tunes, please. And then Tunes can then post that link and then people can donate some money if they want to. But I think you guys did brilliantly today. And the fact that you've said, right, okay, internet's cocked up. I'm going to go back and do another 6 hours, I think that's awesome of you. So there you go. So moving on, what I was saying. So yeah, this game, this DLC, I was like, okay, not seen this before. It could end up being more like the same again and again and again. But this, again, generally had me excited. This is the season pass for Far Cry 6. Here's the trailer.
What is going on? Who's watching?
My, what a happy family. RJ, tell your mother and sister to...
You are alive. That is all that matters. What the fuck?
Peekaboo, motherfucker.
Where the fuck am I?
I too am a king who isn't afraid to slaughter to get what he wants. In my way!
Is this a test? A dream? An opportunity? Then I will not waste it.
You are beyond salvation.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
There you go. So that is the Far Cry 6 season pass. Now, it does include something else, which I'm not going to show the trailer for, because it's not actually anything new. They are doing Blood Dragon, a newly updated version of Blood Dragon, which if you played on the 360 or your PS3, was good fun. But I really like what they've done here. They've taken the main bad guys from Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 and done some new story. It looks like in the third one that Zaz is being hunted and haunted by the guy that he was basically tracking down through the whole game. Pagan Minzel looks very spiritual. And Joseph sees like he's been called back from... I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't played the games, but it generally looks crazy. And for that, I would give Far Cry 6 a go because I'm not going to be able to play these separately. But I'm more excited about the DLC than I am Far Cry 6. I'm just not that fussed about Far Cry 6. And I can't put my finger on it. I think, Dave, you said it earlier. They've been going downhill since, for me, 3 was the height of it.
Yeah,
and 4 was okay.
There for me.
And then 5.
Yeah, 4 I completed, but I kind of forced myself through to the end of it. I was getting quite bored of it. Wasn't particularly great. Again, I couldn't really put my finger on it. It was well put together. The gunplay was good, but it just didn't really gel properly with me. I kind of got very bored, just forced myself to finish it off. 5 just didn't get me at all. I played a bit of that. I just got really fed up with that one really quickly. So because of that, I'm not at all hyped for Far Cry 6. I'd like to be proved wrong because they showed a cool looking trailer. For Far Cry 6. The DLC looked interesting. DLC looks like it's going a bit out there.
Yeah.
They usually do, don't they? Because the DLCs go a bit crazy with them. So hopefully it might turn out to be really good. In which case I might give it a look. But I can only base it on what I've seen from the previous ones, and they've really underwhelmed me in the last couple of installments.
It's a difficult one. I don't know. Again, might be proven wrong. Far Cry 6 may be way better. I've seen stuff that I think that's cool. I like that. To me, there's just not enough there for me to go after. I'm going to say it after suffering through Far Cry 5 and then playing the New Dawn thing, which was basically a huge DLC, which wasn't a DLC, it was a separate game, and getting through that to really kind of go, get a bit shortchanged by the story. I was just like, So I don't know. Again, I hope they prove me wrong, but I am really psyched for the DLC. So if that is what's going to draw me in to get 6, then they've done their job. I'm going to say a couple of things here. Chelsea, hello. Great to see you. Zenkai's really hyped for this. Dude, I love this season pass. Little Panda said, oh my God, this looks amazing. Becca, thank you. Take care. Good night, Becca. Yeah, he said peekaboo, motherfucker. I love that. He just got his own. Even the whole thing of, do you know the definition of sanity? They've turned the tables on it. I love what they've done with that. Zenkai is hyped. He wants this to be game of the year. Maybe it will be. You got to learn the game. Hello. How you doing? Great to see you. Gecko said, middle-aged gamer, you know you did a review on Wild at Heart the other week. I started playing that game, and it's quite cool. Awesome. See, we get people playing games that you might not have heard of. That's what we hope to do. So, yeah, Far Cry 6 DLC. I'm looking forward to it. Dave, your next game, something very different again. What did you go for?
I've gone for Trek to Yomi, I think it's pronounced.
Okay, yeah, let's have a look at the trailer for this and see what people think. Here we go.
Heiwa 単なる幻に過ぎぬ。その喪失を嘆くなかれ。己の行いを悔やまずともよい。武士道というは死ぬことと見つけたり。その道を守るべし。己の命が尽き果てたその先まで。
Here you go, that's Trexie Yomi. Now, I did see this. Again, it didn't go on my list, but I was quite like, I like the look of this. I like the art style. There's bits of it reminding me of games like Limbo and Inside because of the way the crossing, but then seems to be a lot more to it. Hello, Prince Hazard, by the way. Welcome. Good to see you. Big Jesse says, I like the look of this a lot.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye when the trailer came on. It just looks like the old black and white samurai films. You see, it just looks really cool the way it's been done.
Yeah. So is that what drew you to it then, this one?
Yeah, that's what drew me to it. It just looked different. You know, it's gone for the whole sort of black and white style. I do like a decent sort of side-scrolling sort of action game, and this looks good. Yeah, so it's got some good samurai action to it. It looks really sort of stylized where they've done it. It looks really cool to me, so I'm hopeful that it's going to turn out well.
I mean, I like the look of it. Everyone's saying, Prince is saying the art style is beautiful. I could see me playing this. I could quite see me playing this. It just didn't quite grab me as much. But now when we watch back and we're putting this show together, I watched back and I went, shit, yeah. I think I'd had trailer fatigue by the time we got round to this trailer, I think.
Well, there were a few, weren't there?
There was only a few thousand that I had to sit through and watch trailers, some better than others. But yeah, I think this could be a good one. Do we know when this is due out, this one?
No, I don't think there's been a date announced. Not that I recall seeing. Hopefully it's this year, but I have to wait and see.
Okay. Well, weirdly enough, my next choice goes from Samurai to Ninja. Now, this is a game I'd never heard of, but soon as I saw this, again, this was on one of the indie showcases quite early on of E3. I was like, oh, I like this. Why have I never heard of the original? I'm just going to play this in the background while we discuss this one. This is Aragami 2. This was, I think, announced on the first pre-show of E3, actually. And I was like, well, this is a good one to start with. I like the look of this. The fact that it is sneaking around, going across rooftops. You know, you can do different moves. And you've got to be very careful how you plan your moves up. You've got like the sneak thing that makes you invisible. You've got magical powers. So it's almost like, imagine if Assassin's Creed and Dishonored had a child. This is what you would get, because you've got all those sort of powers from Dishonored, but then you've got this like jumping around, assassinating people. It looks so cool. I really, really like the look of this. Dave, did this come up on your radar at all?
You know, it's a trailer that I haven't actually watched before. I think I had heard the name of the game, but I never looked at the trailer. But looking at it here, it does look pretty cool. And if it is, you know, a decent mix of so like Assassin's Creed, Dishonored, stuff like that, then it could be one I'd be interested in. So I do like those sort of sneaky stealth games. You got to sort of plan your moves. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on this one. It's a good pick. It does look cool.
I think it'd be cool. Prince says, was about to say, reminded me of Dishonored. Little Panda says, Middle and Dave, you should have both hosted E3. The games you both chose. You know, we're halfway through our selection of what we chose. Hopefully we won't disappoint. But yeah, there you go. That is coming to Game Pass and will be free on day one when it comes out, they've announced. Which I think is later this year, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good one. Before we jump into our last 5 games each, a little bit of news on the rumour mill, of course. Big Jesse says, oh, if that's on Game Pass, I'm definitely going to give it a go. I think it's worth it just for that alone. So we are a bit showcased to death, to be honest. Xbox did another showcase last Thursday, which we're going to talk about on next week's show because, you know, we're talking everything E3. But the next big showcase is actually EA, because EA didn't take part of E3 at all. No surprises. They said they weren't going to be part of E3, just like Sony. So they've got their next showcase in July 22nd, which we will either talk about or we'll stream, or I'll figure out what the hell we're doing with it. The rumour mill is saying that they are going to announce an old IP and bring it back literally from the dead. So rumours have started circulating that Dead Space is going to be revamped and brought back by EA. They said they were working on a space game and it's not a Star Wars game. So everyone's thinking this could be it. So the question is, are we excited for this, chat and Dave? Are we excited for a new Dead Space? Because it could be Dead Space 4 or it could be totally revamped. Your thoughts, Dave, on this?
Yeah, if they take Dead Space and let it sort of go back to its basics like it was for the first couple of games, where it was just a really good single-player horror game, then yeah, I could get excited about it. But with the original series, they went a bit too far to the action bent on it. A bit like Resident Evil did at one point when Resident Evil hit 5 and 6. They were too far on the action route. They were just crap. I tried 5 and it was awful. They put co-op in that no one wanted in a horror game. Terrible. And they did similar with Dead Space 3. They put co-op in it. Didn't really need co-op in a horror game. And for whatever reason, they put some microtransactions in it as well. For some, I think, send something off to collect resources. You could do microtransactions to make it collect more. Don't know why they put stuff like that in. That's EA for you. But hopefully, if they don't fill it with crap like that, let it go back to being a good single-player horror game, good story, all that, then I could be interested in it. But we're going to have to wait and see what they show at their showcase. I think it's in July, isn't it?
It's July the 22nd, their showcase is going to be. Panda said, oh, yo, I posted this up in my Discord. I did. I actually commented on it because the same day that you posted that up, IGN did a news report about it. And as Prince says, the rumour was about last year. So obviously the rumours started circulating last year. They out an advert out for out jobs, and it was the same studio that Dead Space was made by. So they've obviously asked for people to start doing stuff. But then it seems to be circulating in actually the last week because there's GameSpot, IGN, I think Eurogamer reported on it all in the last week. So I think the fact that now the gaming press is picking it up, yeah, I think you're right, Prince. That's what started the rumour. They were asking for people to go and work on the project. But now there seems to be even more buzz about it, which says to me that EA might be kind of going, right, we're 3 weeks away for the conference and we need something to get people hyped. But as you say, Dave, first 2 Dead Spaces, absolutely fantastic. Third Dead Space, a huge letdown. EA getting there or in with the microtransactions. And I think this was one of the first, I might be wrong about this, but one of the first games where people started to get pissed off for EA for microtransactions and ruining a franchise. There might have been another game, I don't know. But I seem to, in my head, I seem to remember it being that you've ruined this game. And the co-op element was a bit odd. But we'll see. We'll see. As I say, it's still a rumour. Could get out, we go and watch it, and there'll be nothing. We don't know. We don't know how these things are going to go.
It could just be a title. You never know.
Yeah,
just the title.
That's all we get.
That's your last.
We're bringing out a brand new game. It's called Space Dead. Be like, oh, right, okay. Nothing to do with that. But we'll see what happens. But there you go. We will find out on July the 22nd, folks. I will let you know if I'm going to stream that conference like I did all of E3, or whether we'll just talk about it on the chat show here, like we're going to do with the Xbox One, because yeah, I can't be asked to do a 2-hour broadcast for that. There's a lot of stuff that's just filler. But we'll talk about it on next week's show. So that's it for news this week. We're going to crack on with our last 5 games each from E3. Now, this one, I'm going to play the trailer in the background because it's a long trailer. Dave, your next selection was?
Stalker 2.
Stalker 2, right, here we go. Now, why did you pick this?
Well, I've picked this one based on playing the originals on the PC, which I really enjoyed back when they came out. I mean, the first one launched with some problems, not quite cyberpunk level of problems, but it had a few issues. It had bugs to it. It had features that they talked about that were missing, but it still had a good basis to it. So you could play it and do plenty of stuff in it. It was the setting that really made this. It's like setting in and around Chernobyl. Yeah. And there's all these like weird anomalies around the place that do different things. Like there's ones that like just explode as you get near them, other ones that throw up in the air. You've got to avoid these whilst being aware of all the wildlife, the mutated wildlife that's out there in the world as well, and human enemies, bandits that have got camps around the place. So it had these really decent sort of open levels that contained all of this, and it was had very good atmosphere, which is one of the main things that pulled me into it, because you'd be going through the world, just doing various bits and pieces, taking out bandit camps, collecting stuff that you managed to find while you're exploring. And you went inside some of these big complexes to like further the story, and just the atmosphere that you had in there was just really, really well done. You felt scared going through these dark corridors. You could hear all these monsters around you, but you couldn't see them until they appear. They did a really good job of that. So I am hoping that they can capture some of this with Stalker 2. It's not the same team behind the originals that are making this, because I think this is done by GCS Game World, and they originally went bust years ago whilst trying to do Stalker 2. And a lot of the people from there went over to 4A Games and worked on the Metro series.
Right, okay.
But then GSC Game World came back and they've announced they're doing this. So hopefully they will be able to do a decent job of it. From what I can see in the trailer, it's looking nice. It's got good graphics and stuff to it, but we need to see more of it to see if they can live up to the originals. Yeah. So it's on my list really based on the original PC releases. I'm hyped for it because those were so good. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, my only thing about this, I mean, this does look good. I have to say, it does look good. My only thing is, at the same time that they showed that, I think in the same showcase, they showed 2 other games that were so similar. One being like a Chernobyl, another Chernobyl game.
Chernobyl Ice. I think that's more of a roguelike base building type one.
Yeah.
I think.
There's,
again, that looks interesting.
Yeah. But I was just like, and then there was another one that was also shown, and I can't remember the name. That was more of an indie game. But I was just like, oh, they're flooding the market with these. So it kind of dampened my things for Stalker 2. But again, watching through the footage and everything, I'm kind of like, yeah, this could be a good one. Because I remember we showed a trailer for this right at the start of the year. I think this was on our hyped games lists. I'd still want to give this a whirl when it comes out. I'm not going to write it off. I think the other 2 games, Chernobyl and the other one, which I can't remember the name of, I'd probably stay well clear of, and this would be the one that I make a beeline for.
This one's coming to Game Pass whenever it releases next year.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't got a date, but we know that it's going to be. There's
just
many
2022.
games. Many games they've announced and said, yeah, this is going to be on free on Game Pass straight away, which is cool. My next one was probably the first game announced for the Summer of Games preview. And as soon as it started, I went, this looks a bit like Borderlands. And I was, again, I'm not going to play the trailer for this one. I'm just going to show some footage in the background. But I was right because it's technically an offshoot of Borderlands. This is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm actually dead excited for this. I love the Borderlands games, and I think this looks great fun. Bit of a sort of medieval slant-ish, but it's a looter shooter, what you'd expect from Borderlands, but not so futuristic, more medieval fantasy style. It is based off some of the DLCs, I believe. So they've kind of taken that and the lore and gone from there. But it's going to be a completely separate thing. It's not a DLC. It's a completely different game. And I think anyone who's not played any of the Borderlands could jump into this and give it a whirl. But I really like the look of this. So I want to give it a whirl. What about your thoughts on this, Dave?
Well, Borderlands is a series I just haven't got into. I haven't played any of them.
Okay.
It just never really grabbed me because it's another looter shooter. I'd played other ones like Division and stuff and enjoyed those, but this one, the style of it never grabbed me. The humour didn't really appeal to me. So this wouldn't really be on my list of games to play. But if it turns out to be good, and you can perhaps play it, I guess you can play it co-op as you can the other ones, then it might be something I'd play co-op wise, with yourself or with some of the people. But I can't say when I pick up and play single player myself.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much. He says it's late for me. I'm going to sleep. Have a good stream. Thank you, We'll see you soon.
Good night.
Thank you so much. Thanks for popping in, man. We'll see. I generally love all the Borderlands games. I still not played 3. I know that sounds mad. I even like the one that most people didn't like, which was the pre-sequel. I enjoy them. I enjoy the whole stories and stuff. But yeah, this looks a little bit different, and I think I would give it a whirl. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, something very different. Your next game, which we're going to play the trailer for, was
Replaced.
Right, here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Apparently, there was no sound with that. Apologies.
Audio will be in the final game.
Yeah, audio will be in the complete game in 2022. We give you the gameplay in 2021. You get the audio in 2022. There you go. So yeah, I'd actually forgotten about this. Again, kind of side scroller thing. Audio's in a DLC. Yeah, that's right, Jesse. I again, this passed me by. Again, maybe trailer fatigue, but
there were so many of them.
This looks good to me.
Yeah, it's the look of it that grabbed me initially, because it reminds me of stuff like Blade Runner or Flashback. Don't you remember that from years back?
I
on the
remember
old
Flashback.
Amigas and SNES. I really good game. Absolutely loved it. So this looks like a really cool, side-scrolling action platformer. It looks like it's got some cool level design. I like the bit where we're on the high-speed train. Combat, for what you can see of it, looks like it could be quite cool. But obviously, you can't tell a huge amount from a short trailer. But it's one that just grabbed my, from the way it looked and what they showed in there. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Hopefully, it will turn out to be a decent game.
Yeah, I generally quite psyched for that. It says it reminds me a bit of 198X, which was released a few years ago in the style of a typical 16-bit game. Yeah. I've not played that one, but that got good reviews, didn't it, Tunes, from memory? I heard really good things about that, and I never got round to playing that. I loved Flashback. Another Wild, obviously, was the one that came before Flashback. But yeah, I just like the look of this. Yeah, again, like with Trepti Yomi, or Uami, sorry, it's got that visual style that just works.
Yeah, it just grabs you, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. Definitely will give that a try. Definitely will give that one a try. This next one, I'm going to play this in the background. Don't worry, this one is not meant to have any sound because I'm going to play it in the background. This was a game that nobody really knew about, and it closed the Xbox showcase. This is Redfall. Let's play this in the background while we're talking about it. I mean, again, it was a trailer, cinematic trailer. Didn't really tell us much, but I kind of liked it because it's Bethesda's game. We know we're going to get on Game Pass free from day one. And I was like, but it's made by the guys that did Dishonored and Prey. Now, I've said I've had my issues with Prey. I hate it and I love it at the same time. But I love the Dishonored games. I just can't see how they could fuck this up. Now, as Prince says, Bethesda are going downhill lately, but Arcane haven't, as far as I'm concerned. So when this was announced, I was like, I think this will be really cool. Your hunters with different powers. There's the power element. There's vampires in it, monsters. I can't see how they could go wrong with this. I'm quite excited for this. Now, Arcane have also made Deathloop, which is obviously coming to PS5 first. And then a year later, we're going to get it on Xbox. Now, I'm really hyped for that. I can't see how they're going to do wrong by this. What do you reckon, Dave?
It's what I'm waiting to see a bit more because Arcane, they've done lots of good games, and I've absolutely loved Dishonored and Prey. I'm looking forward to Deathloop, but they're more focused on the single-player immersive sim type genre, whereas this looks like it's just going to be 4-player co-op shooter. So I'm not hyped for it yet because it really doesn't show me what Arcane are bringing to that genre.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I just can't tell. If they can do some immersive sim stuff in there with up to 4 players, bringing some of the powers from the other games, etc., then it could be really cool. But I want to see a bit more before I get too hyped for it, because at the moment there's just not enough there to tell me what they're doing.
True. We'll see. I'll stop this one. Prince said, I'm guessing this is referred to the loop. What was it? Loop thingy?
Deathloop.
I forgot. Deathloop. Deathloop, the contract for that was signed way before the Bethesda deal. So the deal was that would be an exclusive on PlayStation for a year. Thank you, Deathloop. And then it will come to Xbox. However, this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. So Microsoft haven't gone back on that, but there are going to be some Bethesda games that will come to Xbox on day one, but then you will get further down the line on PlayStation. It's funny enough because I know this isn't a Bethesda game, but obviously the medium that we've streamed on this channel and came out in January was an Xbox PC exclusive, and they just announced in the last week it's coming to PlayStation. So that it's I don't know whether that's next year or later this year, but it meant I got my hands on that before other people did. They've gone back on Deathloop, have they? What have they said? When they first announced it was supposed to be... No, I don't think it ever was.
It's one of those launch exclusives. Like you say, it's for a limited time.
For a year. It was just like how PlayStation got Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then I think a year later... Did I get that right? Then it came to Xbox a year later. Or was it the other way around?
Other way around.
Yeah. So that was a deal. Square Enix did a deal. So I don't think it was ever to be purely that. But I know, it's one of those. But we'll see. It's best that they don't do that. But if it draws more people in to get on the Xbox first and try it, and you're going to get it for free, whereas when they bring it out on PlayStation, you have to pay for it. I think there's a better deal to be had there if you're on Xbox. But yeah, I want to see how that comes along. Dave, your next choice.
My next choice is Sifu.
Now, I can't remember this at all. So I'm going to play the trailer and then we'll see what this is all about. It's a very quick trailer. It's 1 minute. Oh, I think I've done this without sound. Hang on. I'm going to do this again.
Sound coming next year.
Yeah, sound coming next year. It's DLC. Hang on. Let's do this again. I was bound to cock it up even more than I normally do. Here we go. Let's get this working. Don't know why I'm not getting sound on those. Here we go. That's going to work this time. Here we go. Let's do the trailer as if we hadn't said that bit.
You can edit it later.
Yeah. So that's coming to PlayStation. What was that on? Which showcase was that on? Because I don't remember that game. I'm not going to lie.
I can't remember which one it was. It could have turned up on perhaps a PC showcase, maybe.
Okay.
Originally, it was shown, I think, on a PlayStation one a few months ago. Then it's probably shown up on PC. During
Okay. And why have you chosen this then?
I've chosen it because it just looks like a really cool kung fu game, which is something I'd like to play. When the first trailer came out, it showed off a really cool kung fu fight down a corridor, which really brought back memories of the film Old Boy, which has got a fantastic corridor battle in that. It's absolutely amazing. So when they sort of showed that, it was just like a definite, I want to play that game. The combat, it just looks amazing. So I'm hoping that when it comes out, the combat is, hopefully it's got depth. Hopefully it is easy to pull off some of the moves and make your character look as good as they're showing off in the trailer. If it is, it would just be a fun game, I reckon.
It looks good. Some of those moves look brutal as well.
It does, yeah. You can use parts of the environment against the enemies, smack them into cabinets and bars, and pick up various items from the world to use against them as well. It does look very cool. Yeah,
it looks cool. I like the look of that. I do like the look at it. Again, did not see that, and I will give that a shout. So my next one is a sequel to an indie game that many people might not have played, but I played. I played it back in 2017. I might have even tried it at a show in 2016, I think, and then bought it 2017 when it came out. And it's a quirky little game called Serial Cleaner, where you play a cleaner for hitmen. So you get games where you play the hitman and kill them. You play the guy that has to get rid of the bodies, get rid of the evidence, clean it up, and it's set in the 70s, and it's a really cool game. I had no idea this was coming. They are doing a sequel. Now, if it's anything like the original, it's going to be great. But this is going to be Serial Cleaners. They just added an S on the end of the name. But here we go. Here's the trailer for this one. So there you go. That's Serial Cleaners. Now that's due out later this year on PC and consoles. My only thing about this, Joker Girl, thank you so much for resubscribing. A tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. My only thing is, the first one was set in the 70s. It was all bright colours and funny things. It's quite funny because you go onto movie sets, like there's a Jackie Chan, not Jackie Chan, a Bruce Lee film set. So it's all sort of funny things. And you go round and like there's one where you're in the bayou. So how do you get rid of the bodies? Chuck them into the alligators eat them. And you do see in this one, they've got the funny Hoover that sucks up all the blood, which was a thing. But this one looks more serious. And that's why I'm intrigued by it, because they've not gone for something like the first. This is supposed to be set in the 90s, this one. But then I'm also a little bit like, oh, is it going to be too serious? So I don't know, but I am looking forward to this. Dave, have you ever heard of the Serial Cleaner games?
Yeah, I'd heard of it, but never played it. But this trailer wasn't quite what I had in my mind for what you were saying. I was expecting more of a sort of comedy sort of thing, just a bit crazy. But this, as you say, looked very serious. So going for an interesting crime story. Gameplay wise, made me think of Desperados 3, which I played not too long ago. It's that sort of isometric top-down view. Enemies got the vision cone you've got to keep out of. So it reminded me a bit of that. That's a gameplay style that I do like. So I might have a look at this one if it gets decent reviews at the time.
I mean, you're right. The first game, if I showed you footage of the first game, it is very comical, and it's I say it's bright colours. It's all that. The fact that you live in an apartment with your mom and you got these blokes ringing up on the phone going, "I've just assassinated someone," and you got to go and get in. You're like, "Ugh." It's quite funny. It's a little story narrative that you go around your house and do these little things, and then you go off and avoid the police and hide in trash bins and stuff. But this one, very, very different. I don't know whether we'll see more footage. I don't know whether that particular level is just very dark and grey. But I'm just like, oh, are they going for a different angle? I don't know. But it could be interesting. Big Jesse says, I'm intrigued. Without the humour, worried the gameplay will get boring quickly. Possibly. The humour was what made the first game for me. I play it from time to time. So we'll see. But we'll see. Serial Cleaners out later this year. We haven't got a date, but coming to PC and consoles. Dave, your next one. I'm going to bring up this and play this in the background while we're talking about this one. Again, this is one I did not see. But here we go. Let's play this.
This is Road 96.
Yeah. And tell us about Road 96.
Yeah, this one, grabbed me when they showed the trailer and the way they explained it. The basic premise is the character you play as is trying to escape from a country, trying to cross a border because there's a government looking to come into power that's a bit oppressive and whatnot. So they're looking to escape the country. But it's a procedurally generated road trip. And there was a demo out after E3, which I had a brief go on. And it seems quite cool because it's procedure generated. So when you start, it asks you a few questions. You answer those questions and it sort of builds the game around that. And from what I've played with the 2 runs through, I had completely different scenarios of different characters in. Some of it was more on rails where you're just talking to the character in your car or that you're in a bike with. Then it's got like an action sequence where it moves on to the next bit, which could be a bit more of an sort of open area where you're moving around, looking at stuff, exploring. But it seemed pretty cool. It's got a good premise to it, so it's got me interested because of that and the way they've set it out. What I'll be interested to find out when the full game comes out is how well the procedural generation works over multiple playthroughs. Because sometimes with these games, you can start to spot the similarities. It's like, I don't know if you remember Division, where they had that underground DLC that had procedure generated the areas.
Yeah.
You can start to spot all the bits that just sort of
Yeah.
together, and it got very samey towards the end. Hopefully this won't suffer from that. Hopefully it'll have like a good number of scenarios it can put together with various differences that it can bring into them. But it's one that I'm going to keep an eye on, and I'll probably give it a go when it comes out, I reckon.
I'd not heard about this at all. I'd not seen the trailer, so this is the first time I'm seeing this. I think this, again, could be good, but as you say, depending on how much procedural generation there is, whether this will get old fast or whether you will play this 6, 7, 9, 10 times. But there you go. Oh, blimey, Panda says, Middle, because of you, I'm re-downloading ESO. We did an ESO stream on Saturday, and Panda was like, I need to play this. So we'll see. But yeah, this looks interesting. Do we know what formats this is on?
I think it's probably PC to begin with. Whether it'll come to consoles, I'm not sure. It might follow eventually if it does well on PC, perhaps.
Okay. Well, we'll jump from that. Another game that I didn't know was in the works, but was quite excited for. A game that, again, played... It's not technically a new game. It was a revisioning of a game. And we played it at a gaming show, both Lizzie and me. Lizzie's got it on her PC. I've got it on the Xbox because they added it to Game Pass last year, but I think it came out on Xbox in back end of 2019. Was 2 Point Hospital. Absolutely adore that game. And it found a new audience during lockdown last year. Loads of people started streaming it and stuff. And then they go and announce kind of a sequel. It's a sequel, but it's not a sequel. I'm going to play the trailer for this. This is 2 Point Campus. This was something else I was very excited about. Here you go, folks. Check out the trailer for this one.
That first sight of the school gates, the scent of a leather-bound book, the faint clatter of knights jousting. Well, I can't say I remember that part, though it wasn't like this in my day. You see, campuses are forever changing. Nowadays, education has to be fun. It can't be all work and no play, and quite right too. Frankly, the results speak for themselves. Academia has never been more appealing, more dynamic, more whatever this is. Today's campus is a place to live and a place to learn. Finely crafted by the sharpest minds that money can buy. Though sometimes you still can't get the staff. Yes, these days it really does feel as though anything is possible. Two Point Campus. Class is in session 2022.
There you go. 2 Point Campus. I absolutely love this. I want to play this as soon as it comes out. I think this is going to be for next year. Comes out. It's just, I don't want to say it's more of the same. You get the idea. You build the campus. You build the rooms. Things happen. You have to deal with them. There's all these different things. I mean, they've even said some of it's really cheesy by the fact you have to build a night school. And what's the night school full of? Knights in armor. It's that kind of, cheesy comedy. But it works so well in 2 Point Hospital, which is technically a successor to Theme Hospital. So they're going down this route. I'm quite excited for this. I'd quite happily play this till the cows come home. Dave, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it looks pretty decent. I didn't play 2 Point Hospital at all. Just never got around to it. But I played Theme Hospital. theme park, and all those sort of things. Quite back a long time ago when they first came out. It's a genre I've kind of just fallen out with in recent years. I just haven't brought any games of that sort to really delve into. If this comes to Game Pass, though, which hopefully it will, since 2 Point Hospital did, then I'll perhaps take a look at this next year. It looks cool. The humour looks good. Yeah.
I think it'd be good. I'm excited for this. Again, didn't know this was even coming out until they announced it. I think they announced it on the Summer Games preview on the Thursday, and then we heard more about it. We saw more of the footage as E3 went on. Your last pick, Dave. Again, one that I wasn't that familiar with.
No, my last one is, I think it's pronounced Somerville.
Yeah, okay. Let's play the trailer for this one. See what this one's about. So this comes out next year. I do remember the trailer now. You've played it. I do remember seeing this. It's kind of you clearly are liking all the games, the side-scrolling games.
Yeah, I think it's about my third one of those tonight, isn't it? Yeah. I do like these sort of games.
But this has got a War of the Worlds feel to it. Do you want to explain a bit more about it?
Yeah, it looks like there's some sort of strange invasion going on. You're seeing these monoliths hanging in the sky, then coming crashing down to the ground where you're trying to avoid them. And it sort of gives me a bit of a vibe of Inside. I don't know if you ever played that one.
Yeah.
Played it. That was a really good side scroll. Had fantastic atmosphere to it. This kind of gives me that sort of vibe. So it's going to have a sort of cool atmospheric, kind of like story to it. Whether it'll actually explain anything to you or just let you experience the events as your character does, I don't know. But from what I've seen so far, it looks really cool.
I think out of the 3 of those that you've got, that is probably my favourite one out of the 3. I'll be honest. So I will look out for that. I definitely like the look of that one. Probably just because I like the spacey kind of things, but yeah, it intrigues me with that. I think it's going to be quite heartbreaking as well because it looks like they've showed in the trailer you're going to lose members of your family and stuff, and things are going to happen. It's probably going to be one of those games, bit like Inside and Limbo, doesn't really have a happy ending.
No, but, probably not. Yeah. But it'll probably be quite an experience getting there, I'm sure.
Yeah. My last pick. Now, we already knew this game was coming. I played a trailer for it as part of one of our shows. Dave was like, meh. Now, I'm a big fan of this franchise. And I was hyped for this game. I was even more hyped when we finally got to see some actual gameplay. Now, I'm going to play this in the background. This is Evil Dead, the game. Now, we actually got to see some footage from this time. We didn't know much. We saw that there's characters. We saw that there was the Deadites. But you get very big Dead by Daylight vibes with this game. There's lots of different characters because at first it looked like just 4 characters from the TV shows and the films. This guy wasn't in the original trailer. He's from the 3rd Evil Dead film. There's other characters from the TV show and the films. it looks like a Dead by Daylight, but where you can get your own back on all the monsters. And each character works differently and has different skills, and you work together as a team. But the fact that you can then also play as the Deadites, and they have different things. And they did reveal, and we won't play the whole of this, they did reveal right at the end, they've got the big evil version of Ash that's like a skeleton decked out in all the medieval armor. So I'm like, to me, this looks cool. It's got all the things from Evil Dead in it. But this has just made me sure that this is going to looks pretty damn good. Little Pan says, I could see Mags doing a VIP stream on this game. Possibly, assuming it's cross-platform, and doesn't cost a lot for people to buy. I probably would do it as a VIP stream. Dave, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, looking at the gameplay, it looks all right from what I can tell. Is it just a straight multiplayer game, is it? Or is it a more of a Left 4 Dead type co-op one?
As far as I can tell, it is multiplayer, but you can have local, I believe, or online or private matches. Same with Dead by Daylight.
Okay, I mean, looking at it, graphics-wise and game-wise, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
probably going to be quite similar to Dead by Daylight, as you suggested. But yeah, I can't see anything particularly wrong with it. I mean, the only reason it's not something I'm particularly excited for is I'm just not as invested in the franchise as yourself.
Yeah.
I've seen I think a couple of the films. It's okay. It's not bad. I know it's got a huge cult following.
Yeah,
everyone loves Ash, don't they?
Yeah,
this chainsaw hand,
chainsaw arm. Yeah, but it's cool. It should be good. I think we might even be getting. Hang on, near the end. I might as well just show this off because I think we're getting close. Are we getting close? Might as well show off. They revealed. Yeah, they're going to reveal like one of the big bad guys, who is like an iconic character of the third film, which is this guy. And he basically, as he stabs him like that, goes, "I'm going to spoil your good looks," and runs a sword for him. That's out later this year. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be good fun. So there's two more games we're going to mention. Now, these didn't make our top 10 list, but these were both games that when we did our list, we both went, oh, we both picked these. So we're going to call these our honourable mentions. So these are games that both me and Dave would definitely play and want to play. This one I first heard about at E3 2019, played a trailer. They then did another trailer, I think, last year as part of the Xbox Online thing. And then they've shown a little bit more of this. This is a very interesting concept for a game with some well-known actors and actresses in it. This is 12 minutes. Let's have a look at the trailer for this one.
So, how was your day?
Oh,
I have something to share.
When is this, my birthday?
We're having a baby.
Police, you're under arrest for your father's murder 8 years ago.
What's going on?
Shut up! You know what this is.
You've been on me all this time?
Never have told me.
I'm out of patience.
What? I know I say this a lot, but I love you.
I say this a lot too, but back at you.
So that comes out in August, 19th of August. That's literally like 2 months away now from that. Got Daisy Ridley from the Star Wars films, James McAvoy, Hugh Jackson, and obviously William Dafoe. And you're stuck in an infinite time loop of 12 minutes while you uncover this mystery of why you're being arrested or what's going on. And you have to keep repeating through it to solve the mystery. Even when I saw the first trailer, when they didn't have any voice actors on it, I was really psyched for this. So
it's the way they're presenting it, isn't it? Just that looking down
into
the action. I don't know if it does just take place in the one room, if there's little rooms in the house it takes place in, but it's like in a small area with a small cast of characters. And it just looks really intriguing, especially the way they're presenting it, the way it's this mystery. You keep looping back after 12 minutes. It looks really cool.
I'm really, really, really. I thought I was going to be like clever and go, I'll get this on my list. Dave won't pick this, and then Dave's like, yeah, I want to do this as well. Like, some ways I was like, damn it, but at the same time I was like, cool, he likes this as well. So this is really good. So yeah, 12 minutes, literally out in 2 months, and then probably the most obvious one for all the Xbox people, the big game which was unavoidable, that they announced, and all these games have been fantastic. It's going to be Forza Horizon 5. Also gets an honourable mention from us. Here's the trailer.
Tell me what you want and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not giving up, come on, we got nothing left to lose. I feel it from the start, you know I'm not going anywhere. I don't give a tell me what you want, you can get it. Tied up, bad vibes, bad luck, been swinging like a boomerang. Dried up, all tight, no fight, now we're coming like a hurricane.
Hold up, coming out of me lightning bolt electricity. Blow up,
all tight, no fight, now we're coming like a hurricane. Tell me what you want right now.
ooh. Let everybody talk right now. Tell me what you want right now. You can get it.
Yeah, well you can get it. Yeah, you can get it. Tell me what you want and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not giving up, come on, we got nothing left to lose. I feel it from the start, you know I'm not going anywhere. I don't give a tell me what you want, you can get it. Yeah, well you can get it. Yeah, you can get it. You can get it.
So this is out on 9th of November. Again, free on Game Pass, obviously, because all the Forza games are. I absolutely adore the Forza games. It's interesting that Big Jesse says, I prefer the Forza track games, but this just looks incredible over this. I used to like the Forza track games, and then they brought out Horizon. I've never gone back to the Forza track games. I just always play Forza Horizon now. I'm
the same. I've tried the track ones, the motorsport ones, but no, I prefer these more arcadey Horizon ones. They're just more my cup of tea racing game wise.
It's just great fun. It's just great fun stuff. It's all this. Obviously, 4 was a great success. They've all been a great success there. I think 3 was probably the best one of the series at the point, which was set in Australia. Then 4 was set in the UK, and this one's set in Mexico. And it's weird for a franchise to just keep getting better and better and better as they go along. So I think this could be great. I played Forza up to 4 when they had football as a mini game in it. I know. Or trying to beat the Hogwarts Express in a race. That was fantastic.
Fun, wasn't it?
I love that. That was great fun. But yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it looks like they're adding some great sort of custom gameplay stuff into this one as well, doesn't it? They show you like build tracks, make custom games for your mates to play in. So yeah, adding sort of that as an extra level, which looks really cool. They
showed off a thing where you went with your friends and were driving around, knocking around giant bowling pins that someone had created, and you get points for it. So there's obviously a whole new element they've added.
Yeah, there's knocking over pinatas as well, so they showed, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mine there, let's get the points. Look good.
Yeah. So it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So just to recap, Dave, do you want to say what your top 10 list of E3 was first? Do you want to work down your list?
Oh, hang on a second. I've forgotten where we started now. Would I have Halo on there? I had Stalker 2. I had Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Had that Road to Yumi.
Yeah.
Replaced.
Yeah.
Sifu.
Yeah.
Road 96, Somerville.
Yeah.
Did I miss one off there?
Plague Tale Requiem.
Plague Tale 2, yes.
And Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2.
So just a recap. Dave chose Halo Infinite, Plague Tale Requiem, Guardians of the Galaxy, Breath of the Wild 2, Trek to Yomi, Stalker 2, Replaced, Sifu, Road 96, Somerville. I chose the Sea of Thieves DLC, A Pirate's Life, Fire Girl, Back for Blood, the Far Cry 6 DLC, Aragami 2, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Redfall, Serial Cleaners, 2 Point Campus, and Evil Dead the Game. Plus, we gave honourable mentions to 12 Minutes and Forza 5. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our show. That is our wrap up of E3 for a year. Thank God it's only once a year, is all I can say. We will be back with the usual format of show next week. We've got James Brooksbank, who is our guest. He was, I think, our second ever guest on the show when we did the PlayStation 5 special. So he is back with us. We'll be talking about all the latest news, all the latest games. And yes, there will be more than just 3 games brought out this week. There are a lot more games out. We'll be discussing it all. Just want to say a quick shout out. Thank you to Zabs, True Law, Gecko for the raids. Thank you to Tunes and Joker Girl for the subs. Greatly appreciate it. Of course, I've got to put this now, Dave. I've got to thank Dave Jones, the co-host who knows the most.
Always a pleasure, mate.
That's sticking now. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone else who's been here, watched, commented, putting their contributions. We are here every Tuesday night doing TNGC. It will be our 30th show next week. 30th. Can you believe it?
No.
Crazy.
That's flown by.
Crazy. 30 shows. There we go. Ladies and gents, that's it from us. Thank you so much. I will see you back tomorrow night. I'm back with a FIFA 21 stream tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock. And my new schedule for the week has gone up. There's a ton of stuff on there. Fallout New Vegas, Descenders. Oh, God, there's so much stuff. And if you didn't see it, go watch on Catch Up the flipping Gangby stream from Sunday night. I have never laughed so hard playing a game. I swear. We had people in stitches in the chat as well. It is one of the funniest games we've ever. I don't know why we didn't do it sooner, but go watch it. It's all good. Yes, we're going to get the TNQ. Yes, and we'll give this a plug as well. We successfully, Little Panda and me, did our first TNQS, which is the Thursday night quiz show, which went really well. If you want to be involved with it, it's just for fun, but we do a gaming show, quiz show, which is hosted by Little Panda and co-hosted by myself. We have a reigning champion who was Melland, who was our guest on the show. He won, so he is going to be on there, and the idea is you've got to beat him. So if you want to take part, let us know. I think the date is the 15th of July, Little Panda. That is going to be our next one. It's a monthly game show, which is just for fun. But if you take part and you're a streamer, you get to plug your channel to all the audience. There you go. Making you cry, man. Making you cry. There you go. That's my plug done. 15th of July. Done. That's it. Thank you so much. Dave, do you want to say good night?
Good night, everybody.
Good night from me. Take care wherever you are in the world. Have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening. And we shall see you very soon. Bye.